Welcome everybody to another episode of Close the Gap. I'm your host JR. I'm here with the talented jeweler I've ever met. And not that I know a lot, because y'all don't see me with a lot of bling, but let me tell you, I have seen jewelers that be bullshitting on their work, but this guy to my right is not one of them. I want to introduce you guys to Jay Sharp, one of what I again think top jewelers that you'll probably ever meet, or I'll get to have the honor and the pleasure of speaking to. Jay, I appreciate you again.
Thank you, brother. Definitely.
Jay, just real quick, man, tell them your origin stories. Tell these people who you are. Before we do, just in case, sorry, I forgot. If you love what you see and you guys are getting value from it, please subscribe to the channel. Just click that little button on the bottom, and leave your comments. You guys, all my social media tags are on the bottom. But anyways, Jay, tell the people who you are. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Jay Sharp, 30 years, going on 30 years in the business. Been doing everything from top to bottom, from being a salesman, from actually setting the stones, creating the pieces, making the wax models, doing the marketing, doing the online marketing.
Everything.
You
the man of everything.
Renaissance man.
That's it. I mean, that's how you got to be, right?
Yeah,
as an
Renaissance.
entrepreneur,
yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Right. I mean,
Definitely.
you save money, especially going up that hill, right?
Oh,
and not
definitely.
in having to outsource a lot of the things.
Yeah, because you want to know how your business is being shaped as time progresses.
Right.
You got to know where it's moving and shifting. And like you spoke earlier, you got to know where your customer is paying attention to, what they're listening to, what they're doing, what they're reading, what's their zip code. I mean, you got to know that kind of thing.
So let's start in the beginning. Did you always have the itch to create and to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, I wanted to sell my own work. In that respect, I didn't want to be marketed by someone who didn't know who I was or who I am.
Right.
So I basically wanted to pretty much control that whole matrix. I wanted to shift it accordingly.
Okay. What was your first piece? Do you remember?
It was some earrings. Yeah, some earrings.
Some
Out
earrings?
of wire. Yeah, out of wire. No, I take it back. It was a little brass ring.
Okay. Was it
brass ring.
for you, or was it for a pretty young lady?
Pretty young lady.
You gotta love it, right? We all, hey man.
Yeah, it's for the ladies.
Hey,
Always for the
something, right?
ladies.
They always say you
Yeah.
get a haircut for the lady, dress fly for the ladies.
Yeah,
Or
that's
you make
right.
jewelry, some
That's
jewelry
right.
for the ladies.
That's right.
How old were you when you you made that ring, or you started getting it?
I think it was like 11th grade,
11th grade.
11th, 10th
What, you was in
grade.
shop class?
No, I had a friend who was in shop class.
Okay.
We would go downtown at this time, buy 3 bangles from a street vendor for $10, take them back to the shop class, cut them in half, and sell each ring for $3.
Okay, so let me ask you.
So the bangle, we
Right.
cut it 3 and 3.
Right. So then, was it the creating that got you hooked, or was it the exchange for good?
Exchange for good.
Right.
Exchange.
That,
for
so
good.
that got you. That was the hook.
Yeah, that was the hook.
Okay, then from there, what did you do to ramp up? Did you make more? Did you sell more?
We ramped it up. We made more, so I was selling more, and that's when the bugs started kicking in, I think.
Right.
It was like, oh, this is all right.
Yeah.
I like this. This works.
Yo, don't you feel though that helped a lot, right? Because what I mean by that is, you created something, right, from scratch. Really, no help, no outsourcing.
Yeah.
We mentioned that a little bit before, right? I think that's amazing, and I think I've been doing a lot of thinking about this too. Is a lot of people don't do that anymore,
No.
right? When they have an idea, right,
Yeah.
they sit there and they think, how can they outsource? And they're afraid to do this shit themselves.
Right, because nobody want to. They're not in for the long game. They're in quick first 90 days, first 60 days,
Right.
120 days. They don't want to see end result. They're not in for the long.
And when they don't see that result, what happens?
They exit.
Exit.
Pick up another part-time job.
Yeah, they
That's
out.
it. They done.
And all they really needed to do was to try to get their hands dirty. So
Right.
you got your hands dirty. So
Still dirty.
still we in the shop, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we
still
keeping it
dirty.
100.
Yeah,
we in
dirty.
the shop.
Yeah, we dirty.
Okay, so you made that. Help the audience and myself move in the timeline with you. So after you did that, what was next?
We mean, well, after that, we had to start putting a brand, a name attached to the product.
Okay, so you already thought of that. You were thinking of that.
It can't, yeah, you thought about it, because at that time,
You still in 11th grade?
yeah, we
Okay,
making
young
it through the
hustlers.
summer. Yeah, we were making it
Okay.
through the summer, so brand names start kicking in. You
Right.
know, like the Calvin Kleins, the Ralph Lauren's, the Polos. Those were amping up, and so you figured had to have a name attached to the product, because I figured I might could maneuver into other products, but we still were in the jewelry lane.
And you always had that thought in your head that you could maneuver to other products?
Yeah. It was wanted to be a global brand. At that particular time, that was the play.
Right.
We're gonna do the store. We're gonna do retail. We're gonna do bags. We're gonna this multifaceted retail space itself. But it
Yo,
kinda
and,
shifted.
and let's remind folks, this is before.
No, this is way before
The social media
We're
and
talking 80s.
Okay, we in the 80s, so we
1980s.
right. We talking about you need to pull ads on the yellow pages, newspaper.
Definitely.
You-
You're looking in the phone book.
You in the phone book, right? You know what I mean? You're hoping.
Yeah, I'm
somebody
aging
will find-
myself right there. You just turn the yellow page.
Hey,
and
you and I
look
both. I remember those times. I remember
Yeah.
when you had to find. I still remember looking at a yellow page, finding a pizza number.
I remember, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
You had to remember. If you didn't know your alphabets or know how to read,
Right.
you was a
You're out.
problem. You
Yeah,
was
you're
out.
out.
You was out of that, right?
You couldn't just speak into Google and get it.
You couldn't do that back
you
then.
couldn't do that, yeah.
So then you did that. Then you moved in. If I'm correct, you moved into some high end shops like Macy's.
Well, we had to go to school. Definitely had to go to college.
Okay, so
we had to,
okay.
solidify, make it official that I know what I'm doing.
What
So
you went to school for?
Metalwork, so jewelry. So I was majoring in arts, but concentration was metal.
Right.
So you had to make it official, because nobody can believe that. Oh, you know what you're doing. So I had to get the paper.
Yeah.
For all
Okay.
intents and purposes, had to get that.
But you didn't even go to school for business. You actually went into school to learn how to
Yeah.
deal with the metal and
Yeah.
understand what metal.
Yeah, I took like 1 or 2 business courses, but not enough to say, oh yeah, he know what he's doing.
Right.
But it's still, you had to know what you were doing. And I mean, we were hooked up with Nordstrom before I graduated from VCU. So I had that account
Oh, you had an account
with
with
Nordstrom
before.
before I graduated.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had already tapped on their door just by thinking the process through and watching other people move. Let me just go to Nordstrom's, and see what happened.
Yeah.
And they said yes.
So okay, let's just call a spade a spade. How was that meeting being a black jeweler? Probably in
raw.
the time.
I mean, it was
probably in that time.
Yeah, it was raw. I walked in with a book bag and a knapsack. And a pieces in a shoebox.
Okay.
I mean, it was a little box.
Right.
And I had in my knapsack, and I just went in and said, "Hey, I'm Jay Sharp. I got some merchandise. I'd like to meet the buyer. How do I go about it?"
Right.
And they gave me a card. Said, "Call back." And this was Tyson's Corner, Northern Virginia.
Okay. Yeah.
And they gave me the buyer's name, and she was in charge of the capital region, the Washington, D.C. area. So I came back, called her, set up a meeting. And I ain't have a car, so I had a friend who had a car. He drove me back up there.
Yo.
I was like, "Man, I'll look out for you. Just let me get this."
Yeah.
And then, it happened. I was like, "Bet, we in."
Right. Yo,
We
I
in the
love that. I
store.
love that because I still feel, although you have strong digital marketing happening currently,
Right.
that grind and that hustle still applies now.
Yeah. It got to be there. It
You
gotta
know what I
be
mean?
there.
Like
Yeah.
you need to go out there and shake hands.
Yeah.
I get it. You could go and slide in somebody's DM and you can find the top jewelers, whoever the influencers, and I'm not taking anything from it, right? Because that's half of the play.
Right.
But the other half is meeting people and shaking hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And-
Because you got to know who you're doing business with.
right?
Yeah, you
That's
gotta
how I
know
feel.
who
I think I'm a little still old school with that. I still need to sit here. I might meet you online, but I need to meet with you.
Right. Shake your
And
hand.
feel the vibe.
Yep. Feel the vibe.
You know what I'm
That's it.
saying? And because if the vibe's not there,
There ain't nothing happening.
correct. I really don't care what the money is at that time. You know what I mean?
I
Okay.
think that's what any product, whether it's cars, clothes, or whatever.
I
You
agree.
see the product, you like the product, but it'd be nice you know the person behind the product, because that might influence you to do more. You might say, I'm gonna buy 2 shirts,
Right.
as opposed to 1.
Right. Because you know the guy behind the shirt.
Yeah, and you,
right?
you trust it,
And you
you
trust
feel
it.
good about the brand.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, so Macy's, Nordstrom's,
Correct.
Right.
Henry Bendale.
Henry Bendale. Talk
Fifth
your shit
Avenue.
for a little bit. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that was Henry Bendale on Fifth Avenue.
Okay.
So that was a major move. I mean, to sell anything on Fifth Avenue in New York That was premium right there.
Yeah.
That solidified that. Oh, you official.
You official right then and
I
there.
could come back home and talk a bunch of but I didn't. I just let the progress speak for itself.
Let the
Let the work speak for itself.
Right.
There's no need, because I mean, you see now you got everybody, the best, the king of the South. All you got all of that kind of space.
Right.
No need.
Let the customers and the work and the product talk for itself.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. You know what I mean? I think that's a big missing part that a lot of people miss in general and whatever they do. To being a digital strategist or consultant to an agency,
it's gonna speak for itself.
It is gonna speak, but you see what happens is some people just keep moving forward with ideas and not put the customer first. Right? And I think for somebody who has a longevity like yourself, 30 years in the game, you have definitely put your client and the product first.
Yeah.
Hence the reason.
Because even if you look at my Instagram or my Facebook page, you don't see me. You see product.
You see product.
All the time.
Right.
You might see my hands, but you see the product in all forms, every step. You see the product, like, all right, then I get it.
Yeah.
This ain't like pulling out a case into a little box and going, oh, that's nice. No, you see the product. You're like, oh, he sketched it out. Oh, he making it out of wax. Oh, he's setting the stones. That's the machine he used. He doing that by hand. I didn't even know you could do that. Those are the kind of things that people want to see. At least my customers want to see.
Yeah.
And that's what they're paying for. They're paying for me to sit down and put it together. They're not for me to, I can order it and get it here.
Right.
But that ain't what
I like it though, because you are showing, you're showing even the new generation, right? Because you got to think.
Right.
The demographics on Instagram, or Twitter, or whatever social platforms that you're on, that piece of content is showing that this ain't coming from a mail, from the mail.
Yeah.
I'm showing you.
Yeah, you get to see my bench. You get to see while I'm working. You get to see everything.
And now, okay. So I know you went through some trials and tribulations. None of it is easy, right? To get to 30 games. You have probably seen some shit.
Oh, definitely,
right?
Definitely.
So explain to me what was your mind set at to say, you know what, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going. Actually, you know what? Do me a favor. Give me an example of some of your toughest times and how'd you overcome it?
Oh, the toughest times, one of them was when I had like zero in the bank and had merchandise in the case. One of my existing customers, a customer who was looking for me, came by and was like, oh, I need to get some gifts for Christmas. And they came by and blessed me with 5 digits. I'm like, ooh, gee.
5 digits?
And you figure you was at 3 digits in the bank.
Right.
Gee. I don't mean, I'm talking under $500.
Right.
You like, I can't believe this. But you done put all your money into the product.
Mm-hmm.
So you got all this merchandise in the case, and you just waiting for it to click. You know, you just wanted to pop.
Right.
And somebody came in like, yeah, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get this piece, I'm gonna get all this. You can go ahead and box out. Here go my card.
And then,
like,
what?
Damn, sit right here.
Yeah.
So those little mountains like that kept you going. Like, all right, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. I gotta give it some time.
Right. You had a vision early. Yeah, exactly. Right.
I knew it was gonna work. I just didn't know when and how it was gonna pop and that sort of thing. So then the other time when I moved into that space, I had a bunch of credit cards. I had like 5 or 7 of them, and rent was slow. I had to use them bad boys, and customers weren't responding fast enough. And I had to maximize all 10 of them joints. And it was tough. That was a tough pull right there. I mean, you're talking like 100 bands.
Yeah, we talking
all your
cars,
with interest going through the nosebleeds. So, man, you had to work your hands off.
Yeah,
I mean, you had to go.
You had
to go. And I'm not talking like no long term. Like you had to put in some work to make that happen. So that's working long hours, weekends. I mean, ain't no much partying left.
See, and I think
party left in you at that point. You grinding.
So you had some self-awareness to understand, like, yo, I got this debt. I got this product.
The debt
alone could kill you. People.
And it did. I mean, that'll cause you to lose your teeth, your hair, rashes on your skin,
right?
Sleep deprivation. I mean, you're going through all kinds of issues you can't even think.
Right. But you had a vision that you knew it was going to work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like I was saying before, you had the self-awareness to be like, look, I know I got this going on, the debt,
Right.
and I'm sitting on the product, but my vision is strong enough. And you see, you made a good point saying you don't necessarily know when you were going to pass that hump, that one hump, right? You don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens with some people, that they want to know, right?
Right.
They're so like have this itch of like, yo, I need to know how I'm going to make it, and they lose sight of that vision that they had in the beginning.
But you know, one thing I'm learning with this time
Mm-hmm.
is the not knowing and looking forward to it is the most exciting part of it.
Yeah, right.
Because the past is the past. I mean, that's just it.
You can't do nothing
you can't
about
do
that.
about the past. But the unknowing of what you envision, how the future's gonna look, that's exciting.
That
Yes.
right?
Like, I can't.
So you
wait
could
till-
go through the seasons. You could go through those tough seasons.
Yeah. And then knowing that the future's gonna be so bright, it's be crazy.
Right.
Because you know what you're thinking, and once you start thinking, that's halfway there. You halfway there. Once you put it in the atmosphere and start thinking about it, like, all right, this is what I want to do. Well, that's it. That's halfway.
That is right.
And the other half is the doing.
Work.
Yeah, the
The
work.
See, and that's the thing. It's the work. And that's where, for me, that I've learned in my career is that's where I was lacking myself. I had big dreams, big goals. I talked a lot of shit. You get what I'm saying? Let's just call a spade a spade. I talked a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But I didn't execute on anything.
Mhm.
Right? Or when I did and I ran into a wall, that wall was not movable.
Right.
You get,
Right.
and that's what I thought. Right?
Mhm.
But it was it was a switch, because to your point, for me it got exciting now to know I don't know what's going to happen. I know that there's walls, right?
Right.
But I know that they're movable walls, because if my vision is bright enough, and I always knew I was going to be, for a lack of better words, successful. I got to go through that wall, right? And I have to understand that I'm not going to know what's going to come with it, but the future has to be brighter than what's happening now. So just get through it. But I have to do the work.
Yeah.
And the work is what was missing. So I'm glad that you made that sense. You put the vision and the work together,
Right.
because people need to hear that.
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean.
fine.
Regardless if they're an entrepreneur and has been in the game for 30 years, because you're still working,
Yeah, right now I'm still working.
right? You're
It ain't
still
over.
you're
I
still
mean, it's a
doing it.
marathon for real.
Right, it is a marathon, right? And the
yeah.
marathon continues, right? And
Yeah.
I mean,
Fact.
so, okay, cool. So you did that. What made you say, let me... Now, did you say, let me pull back from these big stores and start going and opening up my own shop by myself?
Yeah, it was mutual. I mean, it was a fork in the road. We both got there. Maybe they, of course, they were ahead of me because they know the game. So they knew that, okay, my merchandise is probably getting to a cool spot. And I realized that. I said, well, this time I might as well just open my own shop.
Yeah.
I can do my own thing at this point. I learned the game, so I'm going to go ahead and apply what I learned.
Right. So did you have accounts and stuff with, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not smart in the jewelry. Let me not stop faking like I am. But
Well,
did you have accounts for people who had good diamonds, good quality metal?
Well, you know, at that particular time, I was more into women's costume jewelry. So it was more.
What's that mean?
I was like accessorizing high-end outfits, like back in the day, like Donna Karan and Calvin Klein. And,
Okay. So you made jewelry for the outfit,
Yeah,
kinda, right?
yeah. It
Yeah.
was more like that. Like my jewelry would piece together with an outfit.
Okay.
And that had ran its course too, because those
Okay.
brands were getting cold. You know, like you
Right.
don't see DKNY no more.
Not too much,
you know,
right?
so-
You see them in outlets, though.
Unless you Ross or something
Raw.
like that, you know,
Right.
You see it there,
Right.
You're like, who's DKNY? And then the young generation, they're like, I don't even know that product.
Yeah, I'm out.
I ain't
Right,
feeling that.
right.
But back in the day,
That was a vibe.
That was everywhere.
That was a
That
vibe.
was
When you had
everywhere.
DKNY, you might have been.
Yeah, you was the man.
Money.
Yeah, you got some gas.
Right.
You know, but now that ain't nothing. It ain't working. You know, along with Anne Klein, all those brands are cold now.
So did you have
But-
foresight to know that this was going to run
I
its
was
course?
reading. I was reading heavy. I was always reading trade publications like 24/7.
Okay.
Yeah, because I won't on the internet. I ain't had no presence that way, but I
Right.
was getting these trade papers
Right.
through the mail.
Right.
I could read everything was going on out of town, New York, California,
Right.
Texas, big markets.
Right. Right.
And then I was reading the Wall Street Journal. I mean, I was reading, information and taking that information in and seeing like, okay, this is what's next. This person's popular. This is hot. This is going cold. They sold this business. They merging. I'm like, all right, I got to kind of build my business on the same concept.
Right.
And that was one of the ways that kind of led me down the path of, all right, we need to shift gears. And I was always doing custom pieces. Always.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't as prominent as it is now. Because solely now, that's all I do is custom. No ready-made product. Nothing ready-made.
Nothing ready-made. Everything is straight custom. Handmade from the man himself.
You gotta wait. I ain't no more coming in and I have it in 3 weeks.
You gotta wait. You gotta respect the craft if you want, because I'm gonna give you quality shit.
Trust the process.
There we go. Trust the process.
You know what I mean? Like, I ain't in here just to get your money and then you go about your business and you're like, oh yeah, I got it done, and somebody's come in all quick.
Right.
I ain't really sweating that.
Okay. So then, what would you? Okay. So you got your own stuff.
Yep.
Right? We here now. Now, you was always out, because we're in Richmond, VA.
Yep.
Were you always?
Two down.
That's right. You already know VA all day. Were you always here?
Yeah. My product wasn't here as much, but I was here.
When did you start moving your product to Richmond?
When we stopped hooking up with the other stores.
Okay.
And then more of the product was available here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's funny, but that's the truth. When
Right.
I was selling it to the stores, like small boutiques across the country,
Right.
we didn't have a lot here. We just had like a little bit.
Okay.
Like 30%
Right.
would be here, but the other 70% would be in the marketplace.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're out here. You have a shop. So let's fast forward to now,
Mm-hmm.
2019. You have your own shop. We're in it now. Right?
Yeah, more of a studio space.
Okay, more of a studio space.
Yeah.
So you still deal with clients. You still make, I
Yeah.
seen some of your custom pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. You
Thank
got
you.
crazy talent.
Thank
Some
you,
of
sir.
your artwork behind us.
Yeah.
Crazy talent. Okay. I remember earlier you were saying there's like always like a 5-year changing. Right? You got to know what your 5 years is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the market now being the way it is, meaning, because you're on Instagram, I see some of your work on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the way people need to put, if you're a jeweler, or is that the avenue? Is it still going out there because it's jewelry? I have my own thoughts, and I'll share my own thoughts, but I want to hear yours. What's the avenue from somebody now doing the same thing you're doing? Is it social media, or is it going out there shaking hands with the big brands?
It just depends on what lane you want to jump into.
So there's lanes to it.
Yeah.
There's levels to it.
Yeah. It just depends on where you want to be.
Let's say they want to follow the J Sharp lane.
Definitely got to commit the time. That's the first thing. You got to commit time.
Okay.
And I don't know if anyone wants to do that, because you're talking crazy dumb time.
I feel you.
Like going to med school time. You got to put in work. You got to work. You got to know everything about it in order to sustain to this point.
You're right.
You got to know every form and facet of it.
I think that's how you succeed in any business, right?
Yeah.
If you want to be real,
you got to know it.
You got to know it, right?
Whatever you do, you got to know the ins and outs, the up and downs,
and the time, and put the commitment and the time, right? Because even when I'm doing digital consulting, or even the strategy part of it, there's time involved in the beginning and even through the whole process. But what happens is I run into clients where they don't want time.
Yeah.
Because the return of investment isn't right away.
Yeah, we're in a fast food society. So
100%, right?
We pull up to the window, I want a taco, I want a burger, cheese, lettuce, tomato. By the time you pull the money out your pocket, tap the gas.
Here you go, sir.
There it is. You pull off, you eating.
And that fast.
That's how it is. Nobody wants to sit down and wait for the chef to take the order, go back in and chop it up. Prepared, oven preheated, put it in there, wait, saute it, flip it.
Yeah, right. They don't want the roof crisp.
No, they don't want wine. They don't want the grapes to age. They want beer.
They want that. They want that beer, right?
They want the beer, like pop it.
Get what I need to get out of it and go.
Feel the buzz quick.
And that's why I think now, personally, brands that are just coming into the game, or even your brand or anybody's brand, especially in this age, in order to have that, to feed those fast food, the fast food heads, that's where content is key, right? That's when you use the Instagram, and it's not even to sell, right? Because no one wants to be sold anything. But what they want to do is they want to see you working. They want to see the product, right? They want to see the new shirts being made. They want to see that new ring being made. You know what I'm saying? To 20 pieces of content a day, you might be losing.
And I remember when you only had to do it 3 times a day.
3 times a day.
In the morning, midday, and evening.
Yep. Now you lose when you're not doing that. Because like you say, people in that fast food mind, they forget you quick. Right? You only put 3 pieces of content up, but your competitor's putting 20. And they're on Instagram.
All day.
All day. On all major platforms, right? So that, and you lose. And I tell my clients all the time, I get that you got clients on Facebook. But what happens is social media is like tiers, right?
Right.
It can start off with the whole Snapchat. Snapchats are the 15-year-olds, the Diddy Boppers. Damn, I'm aging myself. You hear me? Diddy Boppers? Yeah, all right, we're going to ignore that. Yeah. Right, you got the young bucks up there, and then it goes down to Facebook, right? That's where we kind of live now when you're a little older.
Right.
But point is, if you're a brand and you're trying to sustain for the long run, especially now, you have to use all forms of platform, right? Because that 11 and 12-year-old will grow up to need something that you have to offer because they've seen you grow, right? And they're going to go down to each platform because Snapchat's going to get old for them. So where they're going to go? Twitter and Instagram. That's eventually going to get old for them. They're going to live in Facebook. So if your brand follows that line, that's success.
Yeah.
But like you've been saying this whole time, it takes work.
Yeah, it's work. It's work.
You do how you gotta sell, what you gotta make, but in that night, you gotta be on there putting your brand out.
Yeah.
Or you pay somebody like me to do it for you.
Right.
But I want to teach people how to do it themselves.
Right.
It's an age of information because I've seen a lot of people that look like us. That think they know, and they really don't, Jay. They really don't.
Right.
They think I can make this happen. I know social media.
Yeah. Oh, boy. It's always changing.
It's always changing. But I don't expect you to know. But I'm expecting you, if you want to carry yourself like that, understand how you need to move through the lanes. But man, people that look exactly like us, Jay, from my experience, have a tough personal time taking advice from people that look like us. I don't understand that. That's a different discussion.
Yeah,
but
that's part 2.
Right, that's part 2 of this.
Yeah, that's part 2.
But Jay, look, I know you a busy man. So, real quick, what advice would you tell somebody coming into this game? Like, what would be like 5 pointers that you could give them?
First one probably be know the industry, whatever industry it is.
Study it, right?
Study it. I mean, you spend at least 6 to 12 months just reading everything you can about it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if you can, the second one will probably be apprenticeship, or work with somebody, or shadow somebody, or follow somebody who's making moves that influence you.
So that's putting some people's ego and pride, right?
Well, I mean, everybody start from the bottom.
Right? You can't.
Yeah, like Jay said, you got to sweep before you can own the building. You got to pick the broom up and sweep it. Clean it up, then eventually you might end up owning this building.
Right.
But you gotta know where all the doors at, where to put the broom at.
That's a fact. That's a big fact.
You gotta know that.
That's a fact.
You know that? And then 3 will probably be get the bread, get that money together, knowing what it takes from one end to knowing what it takes financially to know that, okay, I need X amount of dollars. They've used money this way.
Right.
They've probably visited the bank 2 or 3 times.
Right.
You know, whether they're using a line of credit, whether they're using a credit card, or they got siblings or somebody who can put up the dough to help them get going, launch the brand.
Right.
Then 4 will probably be the same amount of money you put into the product. You got to have marketing dollars to equate that. Back in the day, you probably said, well, I only need like maybe 5,000 or 10 to market for the year. Wrong. You need just as much that you put into the product as far as marketing, because you got to get the product moving fast. I mean, the product got to take off moving quick. You know. Yeah,
I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah, you can't just put a little bit in marketing and think it's going to sustain you.
But you should I believe that you should take the money that you make in the business and pour it back into
marketing,
or just into the business in general. Marketing, products, not just make the money and then go buy yourself a TV or a fancy car, right? That's not the move.
That ain't the move.
That ain't
definitely not the move.
That's how people get shot in their foot.
Toe off and get the whole toe knocked off.
Right. They too busy. They too busy with the glitz and glamour. Time to shine.
Yeah, you can't do that. And 5 is definitely execute.
100%.
Execution
Execute
is key.
Right.
You know, and I don't mean no 8 hours.
How many hours? Tell the people.
12 minimum.
Tell the truth.
12 minimum.
That's it.
12. Sleep deprivation.
I mean, yeah, you got to put in. You have to put in the work.
You got to
put in the work.
You're not sleeping. You're not sleeping that much at all.
Even 30 years in the game, you here.
Yeah, I'm here.
And you putting in the work.
Yeah, it's the weekend.
Right.
Yeah, I could be doing nothing.
Right.
But
your vision is bigger than
I
vision.
I got deadlines.
You got deadlines, but your vision is clear.
Right, clear.
And you always want to give your client the best product that you can give them.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's by what? Putting in the work.
Putting in the work.
So what's next for Jay Sharp?
Mapping on the next 5.
All right.
Yeah, we're planning.
That's a bet.
Trying to put it together right now. So every day we're trying to mask out where we're going to go, how we're going to get there, and setting some new goals.
Okay. Bet.
You know?
Tell the people where they can find you.
On Facebook, probably J Sharp LLC, and Instagram J Sharp _LLC.
Okay, and that's a bet. And then you'll see in the next 5 years, J Sharp is on all of the social media platforms, following the roadmap to make sure that he continues another 30 years of success. But I have no doubt about it that we will be hearing from you in the next 5, 10, 20. You'll still be around doing your thing, and your jewelry and your work will be that legacy. You know, besides your beautiful family, you know, people will remember you by your work and how you always put the customers first. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for joining another episode. Y'all know the vibes. Follow my man on all of his on Instagram and Facebook. You guys follow me. If you like the interview, again, please hit that like button, share it, put a comment. Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in with me. That was another episode of Close the Gap. Peace.